Good morning, you guys. It is a nice, cool morning here in Goroka, Papua New Guinea. I'm heading down on 4 flights down to Wabo, a place I don't think I've been in probably like 2 years or so. There is a church conference up here in Goroka for the guys that live down there. And I don't even know if I can actually get 4 flights in today, but we're gonna try. But I'm gonna pull the plane out. I've already got everything ready from yesterday. And then I'm gonna go over on how I actually determine like what we do for weather planning here. I mean, you can see it's a little cloudy out down there. I'm heading out about a 25-minute flight that way. We don't really have much. So let's go ahead and get the plane pulled out and then we'll go over that. So here's how I have this thing configured today. I've got all the seats in here, all 8, and then I've got 1 obviously up front for the co-pilot. I don't even know how many people I'm picking up today, but considering there's 4 flights, I want to get as many people on board as I can on each flight. And as I'm going down there, I'll actually cover too our weight and balance, how I have to specifically configure this airplane, specifically the Kodiak, to actually be able to fit 8 passengers in the back, because it actually takes weight putting down here in this front pod up here, or else it just doesn't work. All right, let's do the walk around. And we're also going to check in here. This is the air intake. It's in bypass right now, correction, in normal right now, so the air just goes right up into the engine, and then we put it in bypass and this little flap comes up. Alright, so I said I was going to share how we actually do our weather here, or like find out if we can actually go or not. Looks like there's got a bit of clouds coming into the valley, but they're just low. I mean, they're only a few hundred feet up, and it looks like there's maybe a high overcast. So I actually use the Windy app. I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but this is what we actually use because this is all we have really here. So first thing I'm going to always do is I'm just going to look at rain and thunder. And we're coming down to this little airplane way down here, Wabo Airport, okay? And we're starting off up here in Goroka, right there, okay? So the blue is an indication of usually clouds, usually. So we're gonna head on down to 9, 10. It looks like it's staying about the same down there all day long. And then looks like it's gonna be a really nice day, just probably a lot of clouds building up. All those blue clouds here, that's gonna make it difficult getting back over the mountain because it's like 9,200 feet and Wabo's like sea level. So that might be an issue later on in the day because like I said, I've got 4 of these, but Brad might do 1 of them. Next thing I look at is low clouds. As the day goes on, it looks like clouds are low down there, but all morning long, it looks pretty nice. Let's go up down to 8. It looks like I can get in right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here now, start on my way down there, hopefully remaining VFR, because it's just gonna be a lot easier getting all the way down there, down to sea level from basically 10,000 feet on my way out, all the way down to sea level. So let's get going.
Headers on, fuel pump on, low start. Introduce our low idle. Watch an NG, up over 35%, looking at ITT, and it tops out at 614. These guys to take our external battery out. It just prolongs the life of our main batteries. Their generator on, prop forward. Right, quick Z check right here. We've got our flight plan ends 57 miles out there. We got our tower up there, and I don't remember, but I think it's 120.1 for the first area code. We're going out at 9,000. I've already got my bug here set up. Runway heading and all the way across. Let's come on over here and check. We're 5,100 pounds, so 53 and 61. Rotate at 53 knots today. Rocket Tower, November Tango Kilo. Request taxi Wabo, 1 POV.
November Tango Kilo. Taxi for 1 left. Electric line up QNH 1024.
1024, cleared to backtrack on to 17 left, November Tango Kilo. Put a strobe on, and our pulse light, we already got our landing light on. Our helicopter looks like it's just getting ready to head out of here. Fog is already starting to move in, as always. We'll do our governor check as we pull onto the runway, clear left and right. Alright, that checks out. I'm imagining kind of the flight kind of going down there after looking at the weather on windy. What I'm kind of expecting is that there's just going to be a lot of low clouds right out of here. Once we get over on top of the other mountains over here, I think it's going to clear up a little bit for the first third of the flight. And then for the last 2/3 of the flight, I think it's just going to be a lot of clouds low to the ground. And then right before we get there, I think is when it's going to clear up. That's what I'm thinking, so we'll see how this plays out as we head down there. Yeah, there's already fog at the end of the runway, but I can see the mountaintop, so we'll easily be able to clear over top of it, and then it looks like there's a high overcast. Rocket Tower, November Tango Kilo, ready for departure.
November Tango Kilo, 17 left, right, clear for takeoff.
17 left, right turn, clear for takeoff, November Tango Kilo. Alright, ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. 17 degrees out, so 1390 on the torque. Alright, let's go. Torque is set. Your speed's alive, and there's rotate. You can see ahead. There is like a low layer of clouds, but we're going to get right over top of them like we already are. Getting our flaps out. And Rocket Tower, November Tango Kilo departed on the hour with tracking 194 on climb, not above 10,000, Wabo 25.
November Tango Kilo, copy departure number 100,000, 15 miles, contact Mosby, 120.11, 6598 to 8819.
1201, 659 8819 15 November Tango Kilo. Alright, so this is the call gap. We've got clouds just on top of these ridges right here, which is no issue, and then we've got a mountain here that's 12,000 feet, and you can see there's just a line of clouds right there. So I'm only at 7,000 feet, so really it looks like, and over here it's touching, so that kind of gives me an indication where that cloud layer is. Right around 9,000 feet. So I'm just going to level off here at 7,000 feet. And as you guys can see, it's clearing up just like I thought. The first third of the flight's going to be really nice, and then the last third of the flight I think is going to be a lot of low clouds, or the last 2/3 I should say. Now that we're leveling off at 7,000, we might as well just bring our power on back to 1250, which is just our cruise power. No point in just wasting fuel. Autopilot on real quick, and Let's just go ahead and go through our weight and balance, show you exactly how I'm going to configure my airplane here. So I've already got 50 kgs in my front pod, okay? And I'm just going to assume that they are all 70 kgs. Probably going to be a little bit less than that. So we just filled them all up with 70 kgs. I've already got 19 kgs out of my cargo bay in the back, like our net and our tie-down straps, things like that, because I don't need that, and that's just extra weight that we just are going to be wasting. So if they bring in, let's say, 100 kgs worth of bags, each one of them comes with like a 10 kg bag, which is probably realistic. We're going to be at 100 kgs, 100 in the front and 50 in the back, because I already had 50 up front. I put ballast up there because I was saying I have to have at least 100 kgs in the front pod to be able to fit 8 passengers at the back, or we're going to just be thrown out aft CG. Right now I'm basically 7 kgs over, but again I'm assuming that they're all going to be probably closer to like 65 kgs, so we'll be fine there, even if we just changed a couple of these here. One light person. Then you can see I'm still, that little yellow line right there is my takeoff penalty getting out of Wabo, because we've got a 150 kg penalty. So as is my fueling and everything, that's how I'm going to have to load it. So I'm going to weigh each individual passenger up when I land. So I've got a ridge to cross. Right now it's looking really nice and clear. Yeah, there's all these clouds out here. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen on the other side. I'll be very happy if that's not the case. All right, now that we're clear, we're going to go ahead and climb on up to 9,000 to get over top of the ridge straight ahead of me. Yeah, which is directly straight ahead of me. There's 2 gaps, one there, one over there. And I think I want the one here that's closer up. It's a little bit higher, but it's a little bit better direct track where I want to go. But let's go ahead and get our descent profile already set up in here. So the altitude we want to head down to is 1,200 feet. That's pattern altitude at Wabo. And we're going to come in at, let's just do 900 feet, and that will actually probably interpolate more closer to 1,000 feet per minute. And there's our top of descent mark right up there. It looks like 8,000 is going to get me over, so I'm just going to hit my altitude button on my autopilot. Now, Wabo, it's flat. It's only 1% slope, so it looks flat. It's 700 meters long. Elevation is 170 feet. We've got 8,000 feet to lose, basically. The center line's very firm, but off to the side I know it is a little bit soft. As I'm flying down, one other thing I'm doing is not only looking here, because this is really the easiest way, but there's another valley down there, or a gap I should say, that I can come through as well. As the day goes on, this one's probably going to start plugging up, and that one down there is going to remain open. So these are things as I'm heading out back and forth that I'm kind of going through my head. How am I going to do this the easiest way? As I come up to this, I'm just going to turn off autopilot. I checked my winds down here. I've got 5 knots coming this way. Just to see what the winds are doing over top of the ridges. If they're coming this way, I'm going to expect downdrafts. If they're going this way with me, I'm going to expect updrafts. Moresby 65908, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby, go ahead.
Apologies, November Tango Kilo is 30 miles to the south, Kuroka, below 10,000, estimating Wabo 24.
November Tango Kilo, no reported traffic, air QD 1015.
1015, November Tango Kilo. All stations Wabo 120.9, November Tango Kilo, currently 26 miles to the north, 8,300 on descent Wabo, estimating Wabo 23. All stations Wabo 128.5, Kodiak November Tango Kilo, 25 miles to the north, 8,300 on descent Wabo, estimating Wabo circuit 23. All right, so I was expecting this to be cloudy right here, all this packed in, but it looks like it is actually more packed in down there. So we've got two flights, one over to Haya, Brad's doing that one.
Vertical track.
I'm going down to Wabo. If I can't land at Wabo, I'm going to jump up to Haya and potentially pick up some of his passengers because he's got two flights out there. And we'll go from there. There's a mountain range, 4,000 feet, about 4 or 5 miles at most, probably 4 miles before you get to Wabo. So I can't just drop down really fast where it's nice and clear here. I have to wait until I'm past that to be able to get down over it. And it's looking pretty thick. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fly over Haya right this minute and check that. One for Brad, so I can text him and go, yeah, the weather's good or bad. And then also, it'll save me the hassle of wasting my time to come back up to Haya if it's no good. I brought on basically an extra 20 minutes of fuel on top of my reserves today for this very reason. Brad might be able to get down this valley and then work his way up underneath the clouds. I mean, man, I don't know. Okay, well, let me get this all ready so I can just text back the weather. I am not seeing a way that he's going to be able to get in here very easily. At least not right now. And I'm not actually seeing a good way for me to be able to get down to Wabo either. Wow. Haya weather is closed. Okay, well, let's make our turn on to Wabo. And it is not looking good out there. Seeing a little bit of a dark, which means that there might be 2 layers right there that I might be able to get down through. It's not looking awesome, that's for sure. Problem here is we don't have any cloud brake procedures set up for down in this area, so although I'm at a safe altitude where I could go IMC and through the clouds safely, I don't have a step down basically that will get me down to a lower altitude safely, already established. So I really have to stay VFR if I'm wanting to get down. It looks like the clouds are slowly climbing out this way. Possible hole out that way. Possible. I'm almost to the mountain range. Probably another like 3 miles. And there's a mountain range at 4,000. I have to climb up a tiny bit. The weather said that right at Wabo, right past these is when it clears up. We'll see how good windy is today. All stations Wabo 128.5, Kodiak November Tango Kilo 10 miles to the north, 6,100. Circuit time Wabo overhead time 23. All stations Wabo 120.9, Kodiak November Tango Kilo 10 miles to the north, 6,100. It'll be overhead Wabo time 23. All right, I'm hoping that this just drops off right in the next 3 miles. Let's go ahead and get our checklist going now while we can.
I think it's 2, 3.
All right, it is definitely dropping down right here. I'm not still seeing much ground though, just lower clouds. I'm gonna hold on my altitude just for a little bit longer. I still have 6 miles to go. Kind of comes in down that way, right on the river.
Thank you.
It looks like there's a darker area up there, which would indicate that it looks a little bit more like ground.
Just copy that.
Is what I'm thinking.
Not above 8,000.
So it's a half-hour flight back to Goroka, so I really have to leave here at 480 pounds at the absolute minimum to get back there with my minimums. I'm at 580, which is exactly what I planned to get here with. So I have 100 pounds of fuel, 20 minutes of flying. There was some, you know, fog in Goroka, so if I can't land here, then I'm immediately going back there. And then you're kind of in this catch-22, dude. Now you have to go over to the Ramu Valley to do a landing. Okay, I'm seeing kind of like these different layers right here. I'm still on top of this, but it looks like through this hole, the clouds drop down another 3,000 feet. I'm heading here, and then I'm just going to spiral on down real quick if that's the case. All right, if we have to go around is power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 12 degrees, reset our torque on this one to max torque. Maneuver is required. All right, yeah, see it drops down really good right there, but that's just not a big enough hole for me to go down comfortably without knowing 100% what's on the other side of these clouds. All right, let's go ahead and start getting our configuration ready because it looks like it's clearing up really nicely. Well, not really nicely, but clearing up nonetheless. There we go, I can start seeing down through here. On the big screen. Okay, we are going runway 32, so OBS runway 32. Okay, there's the river. It's looking clear. Do 10 degrees of flaps. Again, some bank in here, and that will also just really help our descent coming down, because look at this, now we're coming up 1800. Okay, awesome, looking really good now. Now 3,400 feet per minute. Once you get some bank in here, you just like basically fall out of the sky. We wanted to go down to, what was the altitude? 1,200. The runway's nice. Getting out of here, I'm going to have to head out that way, it looks like. That looks like my best option. Actually, out here, I can get out here, get on top of the clouds, and head back exactly the same way. I'll have to text Brad. Maybe I'll have him come out here and do one of my flights. Give some time for Haya to open up, so that way we can get at least all 4 of these flights done for sure. All right, we want 61, 71, and 81. 81 on downwind with 10 degrees of flaps. We've already talked about that. Prop and harness is good. We'll do flaps and then landing clearance here in a minute. Moresby 6598, November Tango Kilo into circuit Wabo, report after landing.
November Tango Kilo.
Alright, lights and bypass. Everything is good except flaps and landing clearance, which is just canceling my SAR. Lots of clouds on the departure end, but it looks like it's going to be 500. Clearing up nicely for my climb out. I'll hug this mountain here, my circuit. What about my pattern altitude of 1,200? There's my pattern altitude. It's a pretty tight pattern. I mean, I'm only half a mile from the runway right now. Looks to be in good condition. Gravel down the middle. About 20 degrees of flaps now. Looks like it might have rained out here. It looks a little bit wet. We'll land at 500. The windsock area, I think. That should be nice. This was one of the first airstrips I came to in this area when I moved up to the Highlands. All right, flaps to go. We'll do that right here at this ridge. And then just a 180 for landing. There's full flaps, checklist is complete. Going to 61. Alright, there's our 61. Looking really nice. I don't see anybody on the runway. Reason to continue. Wet though. All the way down the middle. Really wet. Actually, it's not bad. I'm not gonna go much into reverse. I don't want to flick water all over my windshield. Orders be 65908 November Tango Kilo on the ground. Wabo, cancel SAR.
November Tango Kilo, Wabo, SAR is terminated.
November Tango Kilo. And I know some of you guys have wondered, man, why are you not posting very much? Well, because I'm just not flying very often. This is not a very busy month for us. So I just have not been able to have the flights to be able to post you guys. But going forward here, it should be picking up a lot more because everything is really picking up on how many flights I actually have. So thank you guys, and see you guys next time.
you.